Hello and welcome to the Tax More Choosy show. It's been a while that we've been off air, but now we are back with our usual suspect, Madam Hafsah Seguya. Of course, we'll be talking about one of our trending topics in URA. It's the tax waiver. And in this episode, we'll be asking ourselves why the tax waiver. If you're a taxpayer out there and you have a business and you have penalties you've accumulated, you have interest you've accumulated, this show is for you. Do not worry about anything. Our usual suspect, our tax expert, will be explaining exactly what you have to do to get this tax waiver. She will also be telling us if you qualify, how you qualify, and how to apply for it. Madam Hafsah, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too. Happy New Year to our taxpayers. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you can always join us as long as we have these shows. They are for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section or send a quick message. We shall be able to answer you appropriately and correctly. So let's dive into the tax waiver. What is it? What is a tax waiver?
Thank you so much. A waiver is kind of either an amnesty or a relief on taxes or a portion of them, depending on how it has been pronounced. But to Uganda Revenue Authority, I think this is the fourth, waiver ever since we started. Waivers, because we started the waiver in 2020, in COVID actually. But the difference is what we keep on changing is the gymnastics of a particular waiver. What are the requirements for you to qualify and all that, and how we are going to manage it. But for this year, it's last year we had a waiver, so now we just continued with it from 2024-25 and 25-26.
Yeah.
First of all, the waiver looks at domestic taxes. And it looks at your compliance in domestic taxes. And period-wise, it addresses when you started business up to the 30th of June, 2024. Within that time, how are you performing? Is there any outstanding liability? And how big is it or how small is it? What does it constitute of? Because normally with a liability, there is normally a principal tax. If you're lucky, it could only be principal tax. But in most cases, as it takes quite some time without you addressing it, on the way it picks interest. And normally penalty comes in handy with interest because at times you didn't do something you had to do within a particular time. Maybe you didn't push in that return in time and either came late or didn't even come, or you under-declared in the return and there was a penalty for under-declaration. So a penalties normally happen when you do not do what you're meant to do within a particular time. Whereas interest is when that money comes in later than when the authority expects it or when government expects it. So it's on an assumption that maybe you are still using it in your business, putting it, plowing it back and all that. So it is prudent to bring it back with interest because it's like you either borrowed it, but maybe borrowed it without our permission, but it's well. But when it's coming back, let it come with at least an interest. So that is how interest comes into the picture, and the penalty and the principal is basically whatever came out of your activities for a particular year, that is the tax it reflected, and that is the principal tax. So with this waiver, we are basically looking at domestic taxes, taxes that are managed within the country, or taxes that accrue from businesses within the country. Because as we are collecting taxes as URA, we have taxes from a department called Customs. And these are basically attributed to your trade with entities outside the country and maybe bringing in items. But here we are basically looking at that business you do within the country. There's income tax, or maybe VAT, the persons you do employ, there's that payers you earn, the supplies probably that you do, there's that withholding, or those you withhold from, still withholding tax comes into play. You could be a manufacturer of some sort, and you're dealing in excisable items, excise duty comes into play. So depending on what you do is the tax that probably will register you for. So those are some of the taxes I was trying to look at that my waiver is addressing. Yes.
So a taxpayer may be watching us right now and thinking to themselves, how do I qualify for this? Or we can even just take them back to, I know you've talked a bit about the businesses that qualify, but in this case, we want to know who exactly qualifies for this tax waiver.
Thank you so much. Every client I registered on my register, provided you have a TIN, and within the time you started your business, up to 30th of June 2024, provided there is some outstanding amount there, you do qualify for a waiver. But how are you going to manage yourself so that it can benefit you? That is what we look out after that. We just request you to make good the principal tax. Then we will do our part of reducing the interest and reducing the principal in proportion to the principal tax you have paid. That is what we call pro rata. Say if you there's 5 million as principal, and I have some figures on interest and penalty. So once you pay maybe 1 million against the 5, that means you paid around 20% or so. Then I'll also reduce the interest and principal by 20% each. So you will see a reduction in those figures the more you reduce on your principal tax. So ideally, this waiver came to give businesses a breather. That yes, we are aware that you filed, and this is the amount you filed. But since your business has picked a penalty and interest, what we are trying to address is, if you can give me the principal tax, then government will do away with the interest and penalty to make it simpler for you, to reduce the burden, to give this business a breather. Because when amounts grow very big, businesses at times, the operators get confused. They equally want to even close because they don't know what to do and what not to do. So that is why government brought in this, because we are cognizant of the fact that our businesses, some of them haven't yet recovered fully from COVID. Some haven't even come back. So with the interventions that are available, with say we have now the waiver, we have the installment payment, we have voluntary disclosure. So we are trying to see how to best manage our taxpayers so that they do not move out of business. Because whenever a client gets off the radar, it's like I am not working my side. Because the more the clients, the better for me, because it means I'll have to pick a little bit from everybody, and I'll end up not suffocating the majority. But whenever those numbers are static and they are not shifting, I keep going back to the same persons, and they get tired. They get tired of us. We nag them because they're also struggling here and there. So that is why we're basically looking at widening the tax base and seeing that more businesses formalize. They register for taxes, they formalize their registrations here and there with URA, URSB, KCC, and local government, so that at the end of the day, we can count them on. Because normally when you're talking to clients, they normally tell you, Kati government here to yambie, we lost this. But before you even ask for government to yambie, had you formalized your business? Because government will not help you when they don't know you. Government can only help you when it knows you. And in knowing you, that is when you go through the formalization business of registering this business name, incorporating the company, registering for taxes, so that you contribute that little. When it comes to a time when you equally need government to help you, it will give back to you. But if we are basically giving back and you're not giving back, then there's a problem. There's a mismatch with whatever we are doing. Because normally we want government to come in very quickly and see how it can help us when we have such calamities. But how good have you helped government? Like those the businesses that water entered into their buildings and all that. The only issue is, was that business registered? Do you have a TIN? Are you compliant? Compliance is not all about paying a lot of money. It is registration, keeping proper records, filing that return, however good or bad, but kindly communicate to me so that I can know how you're faring. I can even know that you are there. Because as we register you, these are the statistics government has to use to do the planning, to come up with policies, knowing how many businesses do we have, how many clients, in which categories, in which sectors, are they small, medium, are they large, which sector do we have the most, and all that. All those parameters, they advise government on policy at the end of the day. So it goes way far for that information to reach us, so that the planning is equally adequate for our clients, because whatever is done in line with what is available and what do we expect from our clients at the end of the day.
Thank you so much. So I just want to paint a picture for you. Let's say, for example, there's a client or a taxpayer somewhere in Kampala. They have a business, they filed, and then they reached a point where, let's say, maybe they were not able to file, maybe an accountant resigned, or they were unable to get onto a laptop or phone and file these returns. Now, at this point now, they do not know what their liability is, but they would like to know, because they've heard about the waiver, so they come and say, okay, how do I know how much I am owing, because I have not been paying these taxes, but now I want to pay and start a new page?
Thank you so much. It's seemingly very easy, because as a client, because every client has a TIN, let me make an assumption these clients are registered for taxes. Ideally, they have a TIN and probably a password to their TIN account. As you go to our portal and log in with your TIN and password, on the right-hand side, you'll see where there is login, TIN, password. It will give you access to open your account. So as it opens the account for you, you look on your left-hand side where you have a tax statement. When you go to that tax statement and click there, it will give you more details and give you the different tax types. So whatever you're registered for is where you'll click. If you need to know what is outstanding in income tax, kindly click the word income tax. It will give you a breakdown of the figures. If it's VAT, it will. So it will be a mimic of what exactly has to be in your ledger at the end of it all. But the other side, when you say somebody didn't file, you still have a window to file. Kindly file that return that you missed out, because it helps to communicate. As I said, a return is a communication document. We need to know, because yes, you may not have done good business by yourself, but at least you expended monies. Whom did you spend on? Who are your suppliers probably for that particular year? So we need to cross-check with your return and returns of the other suppliers you worked with, so that we can do a return examination thorough. So at the end of the day, returning is the way to go, because you self-assess yourself. That's the window you have. Than waiting for us to think for you, because at the end of the day, we need to level the ground. So we will have no option than thinking for you, giving you a particular amount to pay, so that we can close that gap in the system. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been telling people, please apply for the tax waiver, go to the portal. Is there a way you can explain to people the easiest way? I know you've said that they can just pay for the outstanding and then we'll offset from our end. But on our portal, there's where we are telling people apply.
What happens? I think the word should change. Utilize the waiver.
Okay.
Jump onto the waiver. Because applying implies that there's an application form you fill, send it to us. No, it's utilize the waiver. We jump onto the waiver. As I said, just log into your account with your TIN and password. Just look on the right-hand side. So you look for where there is tax statement. Once you're there, click on it. It will give you a mimic of the picture, and you'll see what is outstanding. And by the way, in every tax type, it gives you the year in which the amount is attached to, and it gives you the principal if it's there, the penalty if it's there, and the interest and the total, so that you know what exactly is principal in income tax and what is penalty and interest. Then you go on to another tax type that you register for, say VAT, and you do something similar. So basically that is what it is. You don't need to apply. You just need to utilize the waiver when it's still running.
Yeah. So what are the timelines? Are we going back 5 years ago or 3 years ago? And when does this waiver end?
Ideally, the waiver itself, as I had clearly mentioned, is addressing the period since your business started, but up to 30th June 2024. That is where the waiver is focusing. Whatever happened in your business within that time, that's where the interest is. However, all that has to be done for you to benefit from the waiver has to be done before the 30th of June 2026 expires. That is when you will benefit. Because if you're going to make a payment and a payment arrives after 30th of June 2026, then it may not actually meet your expectation. You'll find figures that are not really moving. It's a principal tax moving, but the interest and penalty probably is still there. So you need to note those issues. And maybe the other thing in this waiver that hasn't been in the subsequent waivers, because I remember in 2021, the waiver that was there were basically instructed that whoever has an outstanding, kindly look at their ledgers and remove the penalty and interest, full stop. Let them struggle with the principal tax. That was it. Then we moved on. I think it was 2022, 2023, the waiver came. The waiver was basically addressing a particular period, but it gave us only 6 months of making the payments. It equally went. Then last year, the waiver came back, but it still gave us 6 months. So this waiver this year, 25, 26, at least has a benefit or a difference. It is giving us a year of seeing how we can clear liability, because it started from the 1st of July 2025 and will end by the 30th of June 2026. And the difference it has, for example, if your business started, say, in 2022, and my waiver is addressing that period up to 2024 June, it means here we need to know how much is the outstanding. So if it is maybe 10 million, and this was pronounced in June last year, Mercury did not find you with all the amount of money. And most of that's the reason why you haven't even paid everything, because you can't pay it at once. You may be reducing it in bits. So that means from 1st of July 2025, when it was pronounced, that is when we are looking at this 10 million. But who has told you that interest has stopped being accumulated? Because interest comes whenever an amount stays outstanding. So that means that even maybe up to now, which is 3rd of Feb 2026, this amount is still accruing interest. So this waiver, what it has done, that as long as we have not surpassed 30th June 2026, kindly clear the principal tax. As you clear the principal tax, I am going to reduce the interest that came along with the 10 million. But I will equally address the interest that has accrued from 1st July 2025. Because remember, that is another set of interest. This was already there by the time of pronouncement of the waiver. But because you can't have the money, that means this period, 1st July 2025 and onwards, is outside the period, the waiver period. But this waiver is going to cater for interest that will accrue from the 1st of July 2025 up to the date when you complete payment of the principal tax. For example, if you complete in April, a certain day in April 2026, it means the waiver is going to take care of the interest up to that date. So those are some of the things that came with the good things that came with this waiver, that at least it has a difference. It's not just a replica of what we had last year.
Thank you so much. I'm hoping that all our taxpayers have taken away something from the show. I think the biggest takeaway, like you said, it's not for applying. It is utilize the waiver, jump on it, and if you can, all you have to do is pay your principal tax, and the penalties and interest will be offset by the URA officers from the back end. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Any parting shots that you may have for our viewers?
Maybe to our viewers, Happy New Year, and welcome back from the election. Thank you for taking that decision as a citizen. It's your right to make that decision.
True.
And we do appreciate you for that coin you give us moving forward. And we have started the second half of the year. I do remind you, we need to wrap up the year in the best way. For those who hadn't given us your provisional returns, kindly do so within this time, because the law is very clear. You can amend your provisional as many times as you want, provided what we have by 30th of June will be the final. So kindly look into whatever you need to put right. It's still okay. You can amend that provisional at no fee, at no penalty. It is well, so that we can move with the right document. And thank you so much for supporting the initiatives of government. Thank you for giving us your taxes, and thank you for the cooperation with the authority. We keep coming to you, we keep calling you, but definitely this is a price we need to pay to see a better Uganda. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you for joining us for today's show. Hopefully, we've all learned something on how to get this tax waiver. It's no longer applied. Please utilize it. Look through your returns, file them if you need to, ask for help where you're stuck. Our contact center lines are always open, and they are always 24/7 on. We have our WhatsApp channel, we have our WhatsApp number. You can always get it from our social media handles, and we shall definitely reach out to you and support you or guide you where you need support or where you're stuck. Thank you so much. Until next time, my name is Elizabeth Nakiru. Tax Muchuzi.